Welcome to Sound and Fury. I'm Eric Wilfred Watson, and I'm still watching my way through all of the Marvel movies.
And I'm Frank, and I don't feel sorry for you in the least.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
No, I'm liking this. So the next movie is The Avengers.
Yes.
And it was fun to watch that, and again, you're going to hate me, but I haven't seen The Avengers since it was in the theater.
2012. That's a long time ago without seeing the Avengers.
Yes.
Sometimes I pop that on just for the heck of it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I made some observations as I watched it.
Here we go.
And observation number one is I noticed that they refer to Phase 2 when they're ending Phase 1.
Yes.
Was that a deliberate wink to the audience?
I'm sure it was. Joss Whedon in his way of doing stuff like that. I'm sure.
For any of you that don't know, Marvel releases their movie in phases. Phase 1 is this group of movies, Phase 2 is this group of movies. So it was weird to hear them actually mention Phase 2.
Yeah.
What is Phase 2? Phase 2 is S.H.I.E.L.D. uses the cube to make weapons.
It's kind of like in Star Trek when Zefram Cochrane mentioned the word Star Trek.
And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
And how in the hell did Loki get from falling to his death in Thor
Away from me.
to...
Away from me.
Don't be so corny.
Oh.
So he, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Thanos plucked him out of the pit of death.
Yes.
Put him into a MacGuffin cube and had him possess Scientist Man so that Scientist Man would connect MacGuffin cube to Thingy and bring back Loki out of the void of whatever he was in stuff.
Yes.
Sir, please put down the spear.
And you've stumbled across the one part of the movie that bothers me, and that is, why would Thanos give him one Infinity Stone to get another one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hello, computer.
But Thanos.
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 Yeah, I'm sorry.
Who knows what evil lives inside of a purple monster? Thanos.
Right.
Another thing I noticed is that it was pretty neato that Loki had a mind control pointed stick. He
a pointed stick.
Oh, we want to learn how to defend ourselves against pointed sticks, do we?
What if he has a banana?
First of all, you force him to drop the banana. Then, you eat the banana, thus disarming him.
That was exactly what my notes here say is if Thanos had given him a banana, the people in S.H.I.E.L.D. would have been completely prepared and the movie would have been over right then and there.
Yeah.
Next, I eat the banana.
I eat the banana, thus disarming him.
Mm-hmm. Loki did a passable Zod impression in this movie.
Kneel before me. Yes.
Yes.
Kneel before me. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
Loki.
And it was a very deep moment where the one guy stands up and says, "There are always men like you."
Not to men like you.
There are no men like me.
There are always men like you.
A nod to a dark point in our own history, but not without, they didn't overdo it. Didn't bring down the whole tone.
And Captain America said something along the lines of last time I was in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I was in Germany and saw a man standing above everybody else, we ended up disagreeing.
The helicarrier had a gigantic number 64 painted on the side.
Yes, because
In-
your Nintendo 64 is pretty neato. What kind of chip you got in there, Dorito?
In the actual U.S. Navy, 64 is the USS Wisconsin.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm kind of wondering if that ship has more going on than we are aware. And we live in Wisconsin, for those of you that don't know.
Wisconsin. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
That was completely irrelevant, but it was something I
So what's
noticed.
the number of the Enterprise?
1701?
Oh, no, I mean the ship.
I don't know.
I think it's like CVN 67 or something. I don't know. Fact check me.
Wrong!
We have found the nuclear vessel.
Well done, Team 2.
And Admiral, it is the Enterprise.
The Daredevil TV show kind of ties into this a little bit. I know there's a debate as to whether Daredevil is considered part of the MCU or not, but they do reference what they call the incident, or aliens attacking.
Incidents and accidents. There were hints and allegations.
Yeah, but the baddie of Daredevil, Wilson Fisk, his criminal enterprise is working on reconstruction after a lot of New York was destroyed. And then when Daredevil's getting his lawyer office, is like the place was discounted because of the damage from the attack. So I thought it was fun that they did that. The Daredevil show might not be considered part of the MCU, but the MCU is definitely canon for the Daredevil show and the Netflix shows. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, and I kind of didn't pick up on that until I rewatched this, because it's been a while since I watched either Daredevil or this.
Shawarma. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, shawarma, you have to put your face up.
Ah.
Hair cover your
Oh,
face
yeah,
if
that's
you're
right.
eating
Because
shawarma.
that's. Instead of digitally enhancing or digitally removing his mustache, they did it that way.
They should have just had Superman like, "Hi, guys, I'm Superman."
Pharma. Yeah.
I love Tony Stark wearing an Iron Man shirt.
Yes.
Or wearing a Black Sabbath shirt.
shirt. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah.
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 Which reminds me of Star Trek. As you may have, this may come as a shock to some of you, but I am a diehard Star Trek fan. I'm also a diehard heavy metal fan, and I love Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. Grew up on Ozzy, got me into heavy music, got me into rock and roll, got me into...
Yeah.
I saw Black Sabbath, like a reunited Black Sabbath concert in the late 90s, early 2000s at an Ozfest. And when they played the song War Pigs, they had various Jumbotron video of different war movies and whatnot. And it started off like Battle Axes, kind of like went through chronologically and showed like different wars through history.
Okay.
And then it ended where they actually showed clips of Star Trek First Contact where they're fighting the Borg.
Oh.
So I'm sitting at the concert and I'm like, I'm watching Black Sabbath and Star Trek at the same time. I don't think my brain can handle this.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that in this. Where it's like, I'm watching a superhero movie and he's wearing a Black Sabbath shirt and his character is a Black Sabbath song. This is too cool. I can't handle it.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that they did that.
Well, isn't that special?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool little nod. Cool little nod in there.
Battle of New York was worse than I remember.
Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.
Worse?
Worse. In like an entertaining way. A lot more buildings were crushed and lots more people died and it's a lot more violent than I remember.
Yeah.
I have a toddler and I had to stop watching it because he was in the room when he said, flying dinosaurs scary.
Ah, yes. Well, they were pretty damn scary.
So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we won't watch this
Flying
anymore, buddy.
dinosaurs are scary.
They're okay. They'll
Yeah.
clean it up in the morning.
Yeah. And then they'll have shawarma.
Yes.
Shawarma.
So they recruited the Hulk to come back to help the Avengers for some reason because gamma radiation for some reason
Because
was
of gamma
important.
radiation reasons, yes.
That's just like plot. We need to get him here. Gamma
Yeah.
But whatever. Did the U.S. Army just forgive him for breaking a bunch of their shit? Like last time they saw Hulk, he was like battling the U.S. Army, and now the military just kind of chill with him.
He actually mentions that. Well, I think so. S.H.I.E.L.D. and the military are kind of separate, right? So, as a matter of fact, in the beginning, Natasha Romanoff says, "We never lost you. We've been keeping track of you the whole time." As a matter of fact, we've worked to keep some other interested parties off your scent. I'm paraphrasing.
Like
here.
General Ross? Or
Like
something?
specifically General Ross.
Okay.
So, I think that I think that whole aspect, that General Ross finally had to probably give up his search. Maybe his daughter finally got through to him. Maybe this is the point in time where he's having a heart attack on the golf course.
The animator suffered a fatal heart attack.
He talks about later on. Who knows what's happening, right? Maybe because it wasn't really the army; it was just General Ross, and mostly because of what the Hulk did to his daughter. And so, you mess up my daughter, I'm going to find you, and so I don't think they necessarily forgave him. It's just Shield kind of has their own. They just use whatever they need and whoever they need, regardless of what their past is, I guess. So.
Another note I made, similar to this point, is I don't really understand what the Shield is. And
strategic homeland intervention.
You could just say Shield.
Yeah, whatever. Logistics department.
What? They're not part of the U.S. government, but they are. They're an international force somehow, but they're not really governmental, but they are.
They're kind of the UN of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It sort of reminds me of Star Wars sequel movies where they don't really explain what the First Order is or how it came about. Like,
Wow.
No.
Who cares?
I just don't get it. Apparently the U.S. government, the real U.S. government, didn't either because, like a lot of movies that involve military stuff, the Pentagon actually gives assistance for accuracy and cooperates with the movie makers. The Pentagon turned this movie down because they didn't really understand what the hell S.H.I.E.L.D. was in real life. So I kind of agree with the Pentagon a little bit, where I don't really get the relationship between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the U.S. government because they have S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters in D.C.
Right.
They have S.H.I.E.L.D. U.S. military stuff with the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on it. They have joint NASA S.H.I.E.L.D. operations.
Well, if you look, but if you look at, you'd have.
But then they have Howard Stark help found S.H.I.E.L.D. Did he found a government agency? Is it private? Is it like... I don't... I want somebody to like sit down and give me a civics lesson and explain S.H.I.E.L.D. to me. Maybe most people don't give a shit.
It's basically... No, if you think about it as the UN. Okay, so like 90% of the military in the UN is the U.S. military, right? And 90% of the funding... the 90% is probably way off base. But a lot of the funding, yeah. So... if it wasn't for the U.S., there'd be no UN. The U.S. probably has the majority stock in S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. But similar to, it took...
Did you know that the un-denazied the world forever after Charlie Chaplin came to power?
Yes.
When Charlie Chaplin and his evil Nazi regime enslaved Europe and tried to take over the world. But then an even greater force emerged. The and the un-Nazied the world.
In the time machine. I like money. So if you think about it as the UN, it's basically that. It did take some individuals to, because in the real world, the League of Nations collapsed, and that was part of what, that tied with the Treaty of Versailles being awful, led to the rise of Germany in World War II.
Hydra.
And Hydra, yeah. But anyway, before the United Nations, the League of Nations, and took an individual or a group of individuals to found the UN, and that's kind of what they modeled it after.
So you're thinking the S.H.I.E.L.D. is like an international force that's quasi-military and quasi-cooperated with by multiple governments?
Right, and part Hydra.
I can go with that for some reason.
Yeah. Infiltrated by Hydra.
One final thing I wanted to point out is after watching all these movies, I'm noticing a trend where the villain is basically the hero. Like Iron Man fights another Iron Man. Hulk fights meaner bad Hulk.
Right.
Iron Man 2, he fights more Iron Mans.
Yes.
And Thor, he fights other Asgardian god.
Yeah.
Captain America, not Super Soldier, fights
another
Nazi Super Soldier.
Yep.
Avengers, the team hooks up and they fight like a whole bunch of different bad guys.
Mainly to break the cycle? Or you think it's part of the cycle? Or you're saying it's part of the-
Avengers isn't as blatant at it. They don't have like the anti-Avengers exactly, but
Not yet.
But they're fighting, like Thor's still fighting Loki. They bring in like an invasion force, so the team has multiple bad guys to fight. So you have your team of heroes has to fight the team of bad guys. They kind of did that, but
Yeah.
I'm noticing a trend in an Iron Man 3, which we'll talk about next time. Kind of continues that a little bit.
For once, it's not another Iron Man.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that next week.
There we
So
go. Same bad time.
same
Wait.
or not? Maybe not next week. Maybe tomorrow or whenever the hell this gets
Don't
released.
stop thinking about tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't stop. It'll soon be here.
But please subscribe so you don't miss the videos where I make him watch Star Trek Voyager.